And welcome to round 14 here from Grand Prix San Antonio. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. I'm in the booth with Jacob Van Lunen, and we have Tyler Lytle on the left-hand side. He's the only player who is still completely undefeated in the field. He's playing against Conley Woods, who has an extremely strong record himself, sitting at 11-1-1. He's playing 4 colors, no blue. I had a chance to chat with him very briefly in the actually, we were getting breakfast. He was getting a coffee or some fruit drinks or something, and I chatted with him. He's got ultimate price after attacks to take down the Knight of Infamy. He is running white in his deck, but I don't think it's going to be a huge factor here, as Conley should have answers for most of the threats that are going to be presented. Looks like he's got 3 colors here, black, green, and red represented. And Falcon Wrath Aristocrat for Tyler Lytle is going to drop Conley down to 16 as Conley gets to untap, but I think he's just going to get to Pillar of Flame this thing away.
Yeah, he might just want to use his Bonfire for 1 to maximize his mana. Oh, it's a Mizzium Mortar.
Sorry, that might have actually been what I thought was the Pillar of Flame. I'm not exactly sure, but he just is happy to 1 for 1. Man, that's how good Falcon Wrath Aristocrat is, though. When you just get a 1 for 1 out of it, you're pretty darn happy about it.
Yeah, and I mean, he only paid 2 mana to deal with something that costs 4 mana.
Yeah.
Also got to cast the Pilgrim that turn, again,
Yep.
being pretty festive, keeping things on theme with the Thanksgiving.
That's right, and we see Hellrider come down for Tyler Lytle. It's going to attack. Again, we talked about this earlier, Jake. All of the creatures, the big creatures from Tyler's deck, do something when they enter the battlefield, so even if you do get to untap and kill them, it still gets value.
Yeah, I mean, Conley's at 12, and he killed everything the first chance he had.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Conley being at 12, let's just up that right to 17 as Conley slams Thragtusk here. He is still facing down the Hellrider, but it's a pretty easy trade if Tyler decides to attack with it, which seems unlikely.
I think we may be seeing a dragon enter the fray.
Wow, all right. So it looks like it's going to hit for 6 as he gets 1 Hellrider trigger at +5 damage in the air, and it's going to bring Conley back down to 11. Again, this black-red deck is tuned a little bit higher in the mana curve. It's able to deal very large chunks of damage. And it looks like Conley is forced to attack here. What does that mean?
That means he probably has another Thragtusk or, Huntmaster of the Fells.
Huntmaster of the Fells is going to come down.
Gain him a little bit of life.
And Tyler has another Thundermaw Hellkite here.
And that's it.
Oh, he wants to go to attacks, but it looks like Conley says, is that enough? It is. He gets 3 triggers from the Hellrider. That's going to bring Conley down to 10. And then 10 damage in the air from 2 Thundermaw Hellkites will finish off Conley Woods. Conley gives his deck a couple of good Ristle shuffles.
Unbeatable here.
And I'm assuming he's going to go to his sideboard here, although Conley hasn't actually done that. There we go. Yeah, Tyler Lytle has not fallen yet. He's beat the mirror match, 74-card mirror versus his best friend Will Craddock yesterday. That was the last round that we had on feature match here from yesterday, round 9 of the Swiss, and he was undefeated coming into the day, and Tyler still undefeated. He is just running the tables right now. He's looking to be 14-0 here if he can win one of the next 2 games versus Conley Woods. Conley, however, sitting at 11-1-1, and I remember, we saw him tweet yesterday. I believe he said he took a draw against Turbo Fog.
I believe you're right.
Kind of interesting. And
Otherworldly Atlas.
Yeah, and he's lost only 1 game, and he's won all of the rest. So Conley seems to have found a really nice brew here. He's not on the same deck as the other Channel Fireball members. Not all of them are on the same deck. We know Raptors playing green-white aggro.
At Grand Prix, a lot of the time they have a lot of, a lot of personal preference with the deck choices they have. They're not going to be testing extensively for Grand Prix, especially now that Grand Prix occur as often as they do. It would be unreasonable for all of them to meet up multiple times per week. They have a Grand Prix every single weekend, so some personal testing going on amongst individual teammates. Maybe 2 of them talked for a while, and that's how they end up arriving at a certain list.
Okay.
But Conley, again, something that's really interesting about Conley, Conley is no longer afraid to play the best deck. He's not just always going to be on a wacky brew. But when Conley is on a wacky brew, it's good.
It's for a reason,
he wants to win. And that's his goal, first and foremost, is to win the tournament that he's playing in. So,
yeah, Conley version 2.0, we've seen him kind of shed his only rogue deck builder status a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half, and he hasn't really looked back. He's won a lot more since then. But one thing that we have seen from him as well is that he does have the ability to depart from whatever the metagame is and build really good decks to attack a certain metagame, not just do something wacky or offbeat that can also win. He really does have a great eye now to focus his deck building skill on attacking a metagame, and it looks like that's exactly what he's done here this weekend. We saw him win Grand Prix Orlando last year. Similarly, the ramp decks were really the best decks in the format, and he just took a twist on it. Instead of ramping into Inferno Titans, he went into Grave Titans, and he was able to win that Grand Prix over Patrick Chapin in the finals as a result.
And Tyler Lytle shuffles with authority.
He is a power shuffler. He shuffles like a true
like
red-black
a pro.
aggro player.
Yeah, no, like that's... I haven't really heard about Tyler Lytle before this, but he has impressed me every time I've watched him play.
Yep.
He is clearly a strong player, knows his way around the cards. He's playing what seems to be the best deck. And, I mean, he's just 2 match wins away from kind of making history, 15-0ing, if he's able to then follow that up with a Grand Prix win, just the straight-up 18-0.
Yep.
Has that been done?
I don't know if that's been done. We have seen a few
he could draw in right now to top 8 if he wanted to. He could lose the remaining rounds. He could lose this round and lose the next round and still be in top 8. That's how good he's doing.
Well, and the interesting part about that is that we do have the rule now that if you're the higher seed gets to play or draw, and in his deck he wants to be on the play for the duration of the top 8. So
I'm pretty sure he could lose twice and still be on the play throughout the top 8.
Oh, you think he could be on top of? I mean, he's going to be tied with some people though, right? There's going to be other X2s.
He started out 13-0 though.
Oh, so that just means that his tiebreakers are automatically better?
Yeah, his tiebreakers, not automatically, but
likely.
Very, very likely. Yeah.
Okay, looks like we're into the action here. Conley Woods leads with a Temple Garden and a Rakdos Skillgate for Tyler. So what does Conley have for his turn 2 play here? It looks like it's going to be a Farseek. Again, Conley is playing 4 different colors, so this is going to give him access to all 4 colors. And that's really a pretty sweet start for Conley. I mean, he's under no pressure. His
mana's perfect.
His mana's perfect. He's under no pressure.
On the play. He's got to be happy with his spot right now.
I see he's got a Loxodon Smiter in his hand. He described his deck as 4-color stuff. And Loxodon Smiter indeed comes down, and he's going to play an Overgrown Tomb tap. So the Smiter is white, so it will not be able to get in the way of that Knight of Infamy or that Knight of Infamy, and it looks like 4 damage coming into Conley, who just is powerless to block it.
Yeah, can't attack back either. Yep. Unless he has a removal spell, which is pretty likely.
I see that he has... Oh, he's got Sever the Bloodline, and he is just going to wreck Tyler here. The full 2-for-1, those are both exiled, and he even gets to attack in for 4 to even the life totals at 16. Sever the Bloodline doing serious work there, but this is going to be a big turn for Tyler as he can just play a number of spells. All right, that's probably the best case scenario for Conley of the options that Tyler does have in his deck. He didn't see a Falconwrath Aristocrat there. He didn't see a Hellrider. Instead, it was just a Drolf's Messenger, which clears the way for Conley to not only attack with his Smiter, but also play a second one. Tyler Lytle all the way down to 12 damage, to 12 life here.
And
Conley with
12.
8 power and toughness on board, plus he's also representing things like potentially a Searing Spear in his hand, an ultimate price as well if he wants to get rid of a blocker. So
Oblivion Ring.
Oblivion Ring, there you go.
All right, Tyler looks like he just has a handful of burn spells, which aren't very good against Loxodon Smiter. 4/4s are,
I call
pretty
him
hard to
I
kill.
call him the brick, the Smiter. He's just the brick. Just 4/4 for 3.
Hey, your burn spells are irrelevant.
All right, so he is going to attack, and Conley says, "Yep, you got it. I'll block." That will cause some undying here to happen. And a Pillar of Flame is going to exile the Loxodon Smiter. Conley Wood saw that coming. He already knew. And Tyler does not have a follow-up play. So Conley is going to continue to battle. It's going to drop Tyler down to 8. And what's his follow-up play here? Adjusting Samani, we see he has a Keswick Wolf Run, but the Oblivion Ring is going to take out.
That's odd. I think he already
probably
had that
drew
Oblivion
it.
Ring.
Did he already have it?
He already had it, so it's odd that he blocked, but it's
yeah,
fine.
because he took 2 instead of 3 anyway. And we see a Diregraph Ghoul for Tyler Lytle. That's not going to do much here against the 2-turn clock that Conley Woods is representing. Conley's got 2 cards in hand. He's drawing a card as well. I think he has an Ultimate Price in hand. Maybe a Thrag Tusk here. What does he have? Huntmaster of the Fells is going to put Conley right back up to 14. It's going to produce 4 power and 4 toughness in the form of 2 different creatures on the battlefield. And he's got basically 2 different lethal things, plus I believe an Ultimate Price in hand to take out that Diregraph Ghoul or whatever else might be able to block here. Although it looks like a Pillar of Flame is going to hit the Huntmaster. And he passes a turn back. So this could just be the game if Conley goes for an Ultimate Price, which I believe he has in his hand. I guess he doesn't, or he didn't cast it if he does. He's just going to attack with both.
Keswick Wolf Run. It's game
and
anyway.
He's got Keswick Wolf Run to end the game, unless Tyler has, like, Victim of Night. And he doesn't. He says, yep, I'll give this guy Trample, and that's it anyway. So Conley just decided he didn't need it. I'm pretty sure he did have the Ultimate Price in hand, though.
Pretty nice.
Players in standard 8 and 2, please make your way to the side of the stage, please. Players in standard 8 and
All right, so we're going to game 3 now.
The other match that we have here, the quick look is, here it is, it's Ben Rasmussen versus Josh Utter-Layton. Josh is on the right-hand side of your screen, as you can see there, and it looks like a green-white mirror match, and there's a whole lot of trading happening here, it would seem. We're getting
Lots
life
of
totals
mayors
for you right now. Yeah, there's 3 mayors out.
Oh, man, battling cities.
He is not legendary.
Yeah, they're all the mayor of Avabrook. You know,
This must
It's
be
like,
this is the election here. Apparently, they're all the debate is on.
Oh man, all 3 of us got the same number of votes.
Okay.
This is unreasonable. I guess we'll have to share being mayor.
All right, so it looks like they're looks like Ben got in with his Avacyn's Pilgrim, and now
I hope the townsfolk don't find out that we're all werewolves.
he's got 5 mana. I think in Avabrook they're all just werewolves. And what does Josh have to add to the board here? He has a Silverblade Paladin. He's going to pair it with one of his mayors of Avabrook, and he's going to attack.
Getting in for 4 here.
Yeah, getting in for 4 damage. The mayors are both human, and they're both pumping each other here, so we're talking about 2/2s. The Silverblade Paladin is a 4/4, though. It's huge.
So Ben in a really bad spot here. It looks like he doesn't have a spell to cast. I saw 2 lands in his hand. Maybe he does.
No, I think you're right. He's got a Sun Petal Grove and a Plains, I believe.
Does he have a 3rd card?
Oh, is there another card in there? I don't see it.
No.
I don't think he does.
Yeah, so
He's just going to have to pass a turn back.
yeah, Josh gets to flip both of his guys.
Yeah, so he's
I
going to
mean, if Josh can play
both.
2 spells this turn also, then Josh can get his 2 wolves and flip them back so that Ben doesn't even get a single wolf.
Now, transforming doesn't change the status of being bonded here. It's not like it left play or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh is contemplating his attack here.
Probably sending with both Howlpack Alphas. Maybe just the double striking one.
If Josh wanted, he could trade off the Howlpack Alpha and the Pilgrim for the second Howlpack Alpha. If Ben wanted to.
Yeah, I guess
because
he could.
the Alphas are both 4/4s, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So, I guess he just sends with both Howlpack Alphas. There's really not much of a reason not to.
Especially like if Josh has something like
Especially
Faith's Shield or something, he can just wreck his opponent. All right, there's a Rancor.
Okay, now he can just send with everybody.
Yeah, he's just going to ship the team here. This is a ton of damage.
Players in the standard 8-man number 2, please make your way to the side of the stage, please.
So it looks like Ben wants to block the double striking Howlpack Alpha with his Avacyn's Pilgrim, but that would leave him taking 4, 5, so that's 12 double strike trample just from the Silverblade Paladin, and it's another 4 damage, so that would be 16. I believe Ben's at 14, so he's going to have to block something.
Yep.
Okay, so blocks happen.
4 plus 4, 8, 12. So yeah, Ben goes to 2.
Oh, it was only 12?
Yeah. It was double strike 4 power guy is 8 plus 4 from the.
Oh, right, because he's
Alpha.
not getting pumped anymore. Thank you. Yep. So when the Howlpack Alpha only pumps wolves and werewolves, not humans. Mayor of Haverbrook does pump humans, though, so just neglected to take that part off of there.
And I mean, Josh could just cast another spell here, and then he gets 2 wolves. And oh, look at those! Some Luis Scott Vargas Moto Cop.
Oh yeah.
Named tokens.
And those are going to intimidate Ben Rasmussen into the concession there.
Yeah.
Can't face down Luis and Josh Hutter-Layton on the same board here, so.
You just got yourself a ticket opened up, sir.
Our main match is going to the 3rd game, but it looks like maybe we have a mulligan here. For those of you just joining us here in San Antonio, I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Jacob Van Loon, and we're in round 14. On the left side, you see Tyler Lytle. He is the only undefeated player left in the entire field. He's playing red-black aggro versus Conley Woods, who has a really, really solid record himself at 11-1-1. He's in prime position to make the top 8 here, especially if he can pick up game 3 against Tyler. Conley's playing a 4-color deck that he designed recently, I'm assuming, in it. He called it 4-color stuff. He's probably got a better name for it than that, but that's just what he told me when we were in line.
I mean, it just looks like a bunch of stuff, but all the stuff is really good.
Yeah, it looks
Sever
like
the Bloodline's
stuff.
good right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That card really impressed me there.
That was really, really good. It's also one of the best possible answers to both a Falconwrath Aristocrat or a Geralf's Messenger. Those are both cards that are very tough to get rid of, potentially without taking just a beating. And even though they do get their value out of it, you can still get them.
Yeah, the nice thing about Sever the Bloodline is that you also get a great deal of value out of it. I mean, as the game progresses,
When you flash it back?
Yeah, you get 2 removal spells out of it.
Yeah.
It's reminiscent of Chainer's Edict, but a much more powerful effect.
Yep.
But
And appropriately costed.
yes. Ooh, a 1-lander for Tyler.
Is that 6 cards as well?
Yes.
So it looks like Tyler might be going down to 5 here against Conley. I'm assuming that Conley kept on 7. So,
Yeah, especially, I mean, a 1-lander on the play. His deck has a bunch of 4 and 5 mana cards.
yeah, that's the thing. Like normally,
Kinda hard.
oftentimes you consider that keep for a really aggressive deck like his. But man, I gotta say, like his deck really needs a lot of lands, and he pulls a Knight of Infamy. He's just gonna have a Gravecrawler here, I think. No, he's got a Gravecrawler and a Diagraph Ghoul in hand, so he does at least have 2 plays he can make, but I think Conley's going to make short work of that draw if he has any of his decent removal. Also, we've seen Conley's deck has the ability to put the pressure on pretty quickly. You know, he can make a Loxodon Smiter and just start turning that sideways.
Huntmaster definitely battles with many.
Yep, Gravecrawler for Tyler Lytle, and Conley does just play a Smiter, and that's going to put the brakes really hard on Tyler's entire game plan. He did draw another Gravecrawler, so he does have a play here, but Conley looks to be in a pretty good position, especially if he doesn't have access to red currently, but he's got all of his other colors. See if he has a land that can make red. All right, so this turn he just has an Overgrown Tomb and just passes a turn back. So right now, Tyler has just drawn. Unfortunately, it's a Dragon Skull Summit, so it's going to enter the battlefield tap. But Conley Woods is going to take... Oh, wow, what a blowout. So he's got Golgari Charm to give all of Tyler's creatures -1/-1 until end of turn, and it's going to wipe the board. But he is Tyler's going to follow up, though, with a Pillar of Flame to take out the 4/4, locks it on Smiter, and he's going to play a tapped Dragon Skull Summit post-combat. Conley untaps, does not play a land, but does play a Thrag Tusk to put him back up to 21 and have the biggest creature on the board. Tyler has found another land. It does come into play tap, but he does get a chance to make a Knight of Infamy here, so he has hit a few land drops, and Conley has not only his 4th color and his 6th land, but a 2nd Thrag Tusk.
An avalanche of beasts.
He is just burying Tyler Lytle in Beast here. It is a beef fight at this point, and Conley instantly shifts in with both guys. Is going to see a chump block from one of them. It's going to drop Tyler down to 10, and Conley has a Thrag Tusk follow-up, but it looks like Conley Woods is going to make short work of Tyler here.
I think he even has a Restoration Angel.
Conley?
Yeah.
Nothing like gaining 15 and putting, 18 power on the battlefield, or actually that's 21 power on the battlefield.
Completely reasonable.
He did lose his Smiter, but thing's gone. He's going to blink.
16. Still, that's good enough.
Yeah, 5, 10, 16 right now.
16, like 22 in the abstract.
And Tyler just shows him a handful of burn spells, extends the hand, and Conley Woods advances to 12-1-1 now in prime position here to top 8 this GP. He might even be able to draw it some.